Welcome to Stretching and Strengthening with me. I'm Angel, and I am still doing a series on digestive wellness for me and for you. I'm also working on my level 1 yoga certification, so I will be pronouncing as best as I can some Sanskrit words to some of these poses as I practice them. If you've been stopping in regularly, you might be getting familiar with some of these poses because I've been doing a similar series for a while now, and that's just how I like to do. So welcome, and I like to remind you there's not one way. You can follow along with me or you can do your own thing. The point is to check in with your body, and I certainly am not doing anything perfectly. I'm doing the best I can with what I got from where I am, and I encourage you to do the same and to remember that you don't need any special outfit or a hand-built dome like the Head Hutt here or any particular thing in order to give yourself a little more love, a little more strength, a little more stretching. So without further ado, here's my list. We're going to go down cat-cow, Marjariyasana, and Balasana. We're going to do some downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. We're going to do some child's pose, Balasana. We're going to do probably some supine twisting, Supta, Matsyender Asana. A hard time with that one still. Bridge pose, I'm still throwing in there, although it's difficult for me, challenging. Setu Bandha Sarvang Asana. And extended puppy pose, Uttana Shishosana, my favorite one to say so far. I'm not going to be necessarily doing them in that order, and I probably will be throwing in some transitions along the way. But I am going to start at the top with cat-cow because that's a really great warm-up. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm actually going to come into a squat. That's not on the list at all, but I've been doing my squats, and it's good for digestive health as well. I like to just stretch out the groin and the legs and the arms. Embody my inner frog for a minute. Can get some nice stretch on these arms this way, using the legs for a brace. Plus it looks funny and I love to be entertaining, so there you go. You're welcome. In the squat position, you might find that it's hard to put your heels down if you don't have that flexibility, so that's a good thing to practice. And again, I like to use my elbows against the knees. Can actually pull the upper body forward a little bit and press the knees out and back. It's just a nice stretch for the inner thighs. And from there, I'm going to come into tabletop position. And that is with knees under hips and hands under shoulders, relatively flat back. Energy going out the top of the head and out the tailbone. And then I'm going to alternate from cat or Marjariyasana with the back arched, pushing through the shoulder blades, tucking the tailbone in and the chin in. And Balasana, cow, lifting in the chest, lifting with the eyes, lifting the tailbone. Keeping the belly pulled in a little bit, but letting it arch the other way or sag almost. And then with the breath, Marjariyasana. And Balasana. Just a couple more. Really squeeze out on the exhale. And fill the lungs on the inhale. And then coming back to that tabletop. I'm going to tuck the toes under, bring the hands forward just a little bit, and then push through downward facing dog or Adho Mukha, pressing through the palms, fingers are wide, lifting the tailbone and pressing into those heels. Pulling the hips back. Tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. I'm going to bend the right knee and press down into that left heel a little bit more. And then bend in the left knee, pressing into the right. And pressing into the left. And again into the right. One more time on each side. Pressing into both again. And I'm going to come into a little bit of a Cobra stretch for counter stretch. Just dropping the hips, lifting the chest. Come all the way down and let those toes go. Stretching through the front. Make sure and protect the low back there. Don't go further than is comfortable. Like to wiggle around a little bit there. And then I'm going to push back into child's pose or Balasana. Folding up. And bringing the hands on either side of the body. You can leave the forehead straight down or turn the head to either side. Unless you've got so many glasses in the way like I do. Might need to adjust. Balasana. Just take a couple deep breaths here. Check in with the body. Just noticing where there's any tension and letting it go. And from here, I'm going to come on up to the knees and come into that bridge pose. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Reaching back with the hands for the heels. You could bring those toes, bring it up on the toes to bring those heels up forward more if you wanted. Maybe that's easier on my shoulder a little bit. It might be harder on the knees though. Do be sure and listen to your own body. And I'm pushing forward with the hips. Yeah, that's crunching the knees now instead of the shoulder. I don't know which is better. Setu Bandha Saravang Asana. Bridge pose. Bend the back a little bit, protecting the neck though. And then coming out of that, because my hands are going numb. And I'm going to come from there into extended puppy pose or Uttana, Shishosana. I'm going to try to keep about a 90-degree angle from my lower legs to my upper legs and slide these hands out. Notice right away the hips want to go back, so I'm trying to counter that and instead leaning out forward, sliding those hands out, either looking at the hands or looking down at the ground. A nice stretch through the front of those arms. It's a nice counter to that bridge pose. I find it's restful if I go all the way down and put my forehead on the ground, although that does change it up quite a bit. Try not to lose coherence in the back there. Lifting a little bit through the tailbone. Pulling up a little bit in the abdomen. I'm going to inch these hands back through tabletop and come back to a seated position. That's a nice quick 10-minute or so routine. I'm going to add a little bit of supine twist. Just coming back to seated for a few breaths. Let's roll on over to the supine position. That's on your back. I'm going to bring both knees up toward the chest and rock around a little bit. Give that low back a little massage. Supine Twist Supta Matsyender Asana, to do some little circles with these first as a little warm-up. And then today I'm going to keep the knees together and again look for some 90-degree angles or as close as I can, which requires really pushing down in the abdomen. And I'm going to put the hands, actually I'm going to put the hands behind my head, and I'm going to turn my head to the opposite side as the knees, starting with the knees to the right and the head to the left, keeping both elbows and shoulders down on the ground or the floor, and taking those knees together over to the right, keeping the abdominals engaged, running into the wall there a little bit. That's all right. And then I'm just going to take a breath to relax into that. You could change up this, make less work on the abdomen and more of a twist by straightening that bottom leg if you wanted, but I'm going to continue doing this, bringing the knees back to center. Lost that 90-degree angle. And going the other way, turn the head to the right and bringing those knees to the left, keeping those shoulders and elbows on the ground, the floor, and coming over all the way to the side and then relaxing for a little bit, giving those internal organs just a little hug, a little wringing out, little squeeze, and then engaging again, coming back up to center. Let's go to each side again. Over to the right, turning the head to the left. Both knees together. I'm going to have to scoot over a little bit because I'm hitting that piece of artwork. And then coming back to center, pressing that low back into the floor and over to the left, looking to the right. Oh, feeling weaker today already. Let's come back to center. I'm going to stretch those legs out and just do a little bit of extra stretching while I'm here. Play around on the floor a little bit. I encourage you to get down on the floor and play regularly. Something we stop doing when we're adults for some reason, but it's good for you. You should do it. That's what I say. Anyway, thanks for stopping by today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out the description if you're interested in supporting me in other ways. That's what I was trying to say. This is a book that I wrote and published on Amazon. It's about the Head Hutt Mega-Sculpture that you see around me. And I've got lots of other good stuff down there as well. So check it out. Thank you if you do. Thanks for being you. Thanks for letting me be me. Remember to stay curious, stay courageous, and stay free. Ciao for now.